You walk into a room. Before you even open your mouth, before you shake a hand or make eye contact, someone's already decided whether you're a threat or a target. And here's the brutal part. Most of the time, you're broadcasting weakness without saying a single word. They see it, they smell it, they feel it, and once they sense it, everything changes. The way they speak to you, the respect they give, the opportunities they offer, all of it shifts because your body, your energy, your presence just told them exactly who you are. Weak. Now here's what nobody tells you. Weakness isn't about being physically small or quiet or polite. Weakness is a frequency. It's an energy you radiate when you haven't learned to control what your body says about you. And humans, we're wired to detect it instantly. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Survival depended on it. The person who couldn't defend themselves got eaten. The person who looked uncertain got attacked. The person who hesitated got dominated. That code still runs in our DNA. We just don't talk about it anymore because it sounds too dark, too primal, too honest. But if you've ever felt invisible in a group, talked over in meetings, or disrespected by people who should know better, you already know this is real. They sensed something, and you need to fix it. So let's talk about what weakness actually looks like, how people read it in seconds, and most importantly, how to make it disappear forever. Here's the truth. Most people can't hold eye contact. And the ones who can't are immediately marked as subordinate. It's automatic, it's subconscious, and it happens faster than you think. When you break eye contact first, especially downward, you've just told the other person, I'm not a threat, you're safe, you can do whatever you want to me. That's the message your brain sends, not your words, your eyes. Now, let me be clear, I'm not talking about staring people down like a psychopath. I'm talking about the difference between someone who glances away nervously and someone who holds space with their gaze. One looks cornered, the other looks calm. If you've been through manipulation, if you've been gaslit or undermined, you probably learned to avoid eye contact as a defense mechanism. You thought it was safer, you thought it was polite, but all it did was train people to walk over you. So here's what you do instead. When someone speaks to you, look at them, not aggressively, not intensely, just steadily. Let them finish their sentence, then respond. Don't drop your eyes to the floor. Don't glance at your phone. Don't fidget with your hands. Just stay present. And here's the part that changes everything. When you speak, hold your gaze until they look away first. Not in a confrontational way, just naturally. You're not competing, you're just not surrendering. That tiny shift, holding your space visually, rewires how people respond to you. They start listening harder. They interrupt less. They test you less often. Because somewhere deep in their brain, they registered that you're not easy prey. The second signal, your posture, screams fear. Most people collapse their body without realizing it. Shoulders forward, chest caved in, head tilted down, arms crossed tight. They're trying to take up less space because taking up more space feels dangerous. But here's what that does. It signals to everyone around you that you're afraid, that you're not confident in your right to exist in that space. And when people sense that, they move into it. They take your chair, they cut you off. They dismiss your ideas before you finish speaking. This isn't cruelty, it's instinct. Humans are territorial. We unconsciously test who owns space and who borrows it. And if your body language says, I'm just visiting, people will treat you like a guest they didn't invite. So fix your frame. Stand like you're rooted. Not stiff, not military, just stable. Shoulders back but relaxed. Chest open, like you're breathing deeply. Head level, not tilted up or down. And for the love of everything, uncross your arms unless you're genuinely cold. When you sit, don't curl into yourself. Don't hunch over your phone. Don't make yourself small. Take the space your body naturally occupies. Let your arms rest where they fall. Let your back touch the chair. Sit like you're supposed to be there and watch what happens. People stop talking over you. They wait for you to finish. They ask for your opinion more often because your body just told them something new. It said, I belong here and I'm not going anywhere. The third signal, your voice betrays uncertainty. You know that feeling when you're about to speak and you already doubt what you're going to say, so you add qualifiers. You soften it. You wrap your point in apologies before anyone even disagrees. I might be wrong, but this is probably a dumb question. Sorry, can I just say something real quick? Every single one of those phrases is a flashing neon sign that says, I don't believe in what I'm about to say, so feel free to ignore it, and guess what? They will. Here's what most people never see. Confidence isn't about being right. It's about owning your words without hedging. When you speak with hesitation, you're asking permission, and people who ask permission are not taken seriously. So stop apologizing before you've said anything. Stop adding, I think, or maybe, or sort of to every sentence. Just say what you mean. If you're wrong, you'll find out. If you're right, you'll sound like you knew it all along. Also, slow down. Fast talking signals nervousness. It says, I need to get this out before someone stops me. But when you slow your pace just slightly, when you let silence exist between your words, you sound like someone who doesn't fear interruption, because you don't. You're not rushing to prove anything. You're stating a fact, and facts don't need to be defended. They just exist. The fourth signal, you react too fast. When someone challenges you, insults you, or tests you, your first instinct is probably to respond immediately, to explain yourself, to defend, to prove them wrong. But here's the problem. The faster you react, the weaker you look. Because reaction is emotional, and emotion is readable. And when people can read you, they can control you. They won't admit it, but they're watching for this. They poke you to see how fast you flinch, and if you flinch quickly, they know you're easy to push. So here's the move that makes you unreadable. Pause, not forever, just 2 or 3 seconds, long enough to let their words land, long enough to let them wonder what you're thinking, long enough to make them slightly uncomfortable. Then respond, calmly, without anger, without defense. Just a simple, direct answer. That pause does something powerful. It tells them you're not controlled by their words. You heard them, you processed them, and now you're choosing how to respond. That's control, that's power, and they feel it instantly. The fifth signal, you tolerate. Disrespect. This is the big one, the one most people miss until it's too late. Weak people tolerate bad behavior because they think it's the polite thing to do. They let insults slide, they laugh off boundary violations, they stay quiet when someone crosses a line because confrontation feels worse than the disrespect. But here's what that teaches people. It teaches them that you're safe to abuse, that you won't do anything, that you'll take it and keep smiling. And once that pattern is set, it's almost impossible to reverse without a major confrontation. So you have to stop it early. The first time, not the 5th time after you finally had enough. The first time, and you don't do it with rage, you don't do it with a long speech, you just state the boundary and walk away if they test it again. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not doing this. We're done here. Short, direct, final. Most people won't even test you after that because you just showed them something they didn't expect. You showed them you're willing to walk, and people who are willing to walk are never weak. They're free. The final truth, weakness is a choice you keep making. Here's what I want you to understand. You're not broken. You're not damaged beyond repair. You're just stuck in patterns that trained you to shrink. Maybe you learned to stay small to survive a toxic home. Maybe you learned to please people to avoid punishment. Maybe you learned that being invisible was safer than being seen. But those strategies don't serve you anymore. You're not a child hiding from danger. You're an adult who needs to take up space, speak with authority, and stop apologizing for existing. And the beautiful thing, once you fix these signals, everything changes. Not because you became a different person, but because you stopped pretending to be small. You stopped breaking eye contact first. You stopped collapsing your posture. You stopped hedging your words. You stopped reacting like a puppet. You stopped tolerating disrespect. And when you stopped doing those things, people stopped sensing weakness because it wasn't there anymore. You didn't need to get louder. You didn't need to become aggressive. You just needed to stop broadcasting the frequency that said, I'm easy to control. So here's your choice. Keep doing what you've been doing. Keep letting people sense your uncertainty. Keep hoping they'll respect you one day without you changing anything. Or start today. Fix your eyes, fix your posture, fix your voice, fix your reactions, fix your boundaries, and watch the world treat you differently. Not because they're kinder, but because you're no longer giving them permission to test you.